literally so sad.
It literally is so sad. I feel like today is like such a fall vibe too. Like I have like a sweater on. It was cold on our morning walk.
I know it's getting a little chilly. It's not like 90s anymore, and I'm like sad.
I know. It's like bittersweet, but I'm honestly so excited for the fall. And I'm excited for the holiday season. I get so excited for that. So I'm ready for it.
Once it hits like September 15th, I finally accepted it, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. It's September 15th exactly for you that you accept
Yeah,
no
it's
longer summer.
give or take a day,
Is
but
that like the official start of fall? September or the end of summer, maybe on the calendar?
I think it's like September 20th or something.
It's something. Well, okay, September 15th for you.
Yeah, September 15th
Little
is
bit of month.
stop
Little bit
there.
of month left. I love it. Oh my God.
I feel
No.
like basically like start of September is like, okay, it's not summer anymore. September is not a summer month.
See, like I start getting like that in August. I'm like, let's break out the pumpkins now. I'm like, let's get the holiday baking going now. Let's make a stew. I told John, I was like, I want to make a roast beef so bad in the crock pot. And so like that's on my radar for next week is to like find a way to make a beef stew and see how it comes out.
That's so funny. That's so like wholesome though.
I know, right? I feel like fall, I enter like my wholesome era. Like I do my city girl like summer era, and during the summer I get crazy, and then I'm like hibernating the rest of the year.
Yeah, summer goes a little crazy, but
Summer was a little crazy. Speaking of that, how was your trip this past week?
oh, it was so nice. We went to Fort Lauderdale. It was very hot. It was so hot, and we were walking around, and I'm like pouring sweat. But it was really fun. And then we went on this boat, and it was like the best because it started raining. We were dancing in the rain, and we were just like having the time of our
Oh,
lives.
that's
It was
cute.
like a very like wholesome time. Of
Yeah.
course, I was drinking on this boat, and I was just completely soaking wet
Oh
in
God.
the outside. So it was great.
Yeah, you're
Um,
good.
but at the end of it, I was like, I'm so exhausted from the entire summer that I just like want to be home. I
I
just want
know. Yeah, you've been like a world. Wait, so you went to Texas, Florida,
New York.
New York. Okay, that's I'm like I'm forgetting one. And then you
Okay,
came.
ready? Start of summer. I'm gonna count on my hand.
Yeah.
Texas in May. Then what was after that? June. I went to Delaware. Does that even count?
You did go to Delaware.
Per day, literally for less than 24 hours.
Yes. And no hate to anybody that's from Delaware. I don't know why I laughed so hard like that. It was just not her favorite trip of the summer, she told me.
It was Delaware. Like, yeah, it was just Delaware. And that drive was so, I've never driven down like through New Jersey. That was the worst time. My anxiety
Wait,
was at an all-time high.
can I add something here? So when we drove to New Jersey for a show of mine like 2 years ago, we said the same thing. Like it was the worst drive we have ever had. Like it was miserable. It was so long. Like the traffic was great. Yeah, I echo that. That was horrible driving.
And Ty was driving, and I literally, like, he doesn't let me sleep in the car because he's so loud. I don't want to be alone.
Oh, he doesn't, he's like loud on purpose.
No, he'll like put up the podcast all the way up, and I'm like, come on. And then I'll like try to fall asleep, and then I like jump back up, and I look at him, and I'm like, did you see me fall asleep? Yeah, that drive was just crazy. I'm so thankful that he drove because like one, I basically like cannot drive on the highway. I get so terrified driving on the highway. Two,
Yeah, I do.
well, not as bad anymore, but
Because
like
you drive on the highway to my place like every other week. So I'm
I
like,
do, but now I know it. Like the
yeah.
first time I was terrified, but like now it's
Oh.
okay. And then he gets like car sick when he's in the passenger seat. So I'm like, okay, like if you are good to drive 8 hours, great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But that drive through New Jersey was absolutely awful because like we're going so fast and everyone's literally just like cutting people off, and I'm like, oh, I hate this.
Yeah, I know. Aggressive.
Yeah.
Aggressive drivers over there. And we're from Mass. We're supposed to be aggressive, but
I know. Oh, I'm the most like grandma driver.
John like makes fun of me. He's like, you drive so slow. I'm like, well, you have like 3 speeding tickets in 3 months.
I was
So
gonna say.
you're lucky you still have your license, bucko. I'll take my grandma driving any day.
So Texas, Delaware, New York I go to visit my college friends in New York.
Okay, yeah.
And that's really fun. Love that trip. And then we had the Zach Bryan concert, which isn't really a trip, but it was an
It was an
activity. It was an all day event.
It was a summer event. Yeah.
Yeah.
I count that. Okay.
Which was like 3 days after. And then we had also, I feel like I had something at the end of July. Maybe not. And then Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot. I would be tired. I'd be ready to
7
hibernate.
or 6 or 7. Like that's, and I go on like one vacation a year.
Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot. So going into the fall, what are your plans? Do you have any more travel? Or are you done now? I thought you had maybe one more trip, but
I
what do you
think I'm probably, when I go see Ashley, Ashley's my sister, she lives in New York City. When I do that, it's very much like I'm planning it like 3 weeks before or like a month before. So it's like, it's not that hard to plan just because I've
oh.
done it so many times. So it's not really new and I don't really have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, probably going back to Florida in November or December.
Okay. Oh yeah. At the Roberts
But
estate.
yes, at the Robots Estate.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's probably it for the rest of the year.
Nice. I love that for you. That's good. Sounds like it's settling down. Yeah. We don't have we don't
Thank
have
God.
any, and I'm happy about that.
I
Neither
literally don't have enough energy to even like be awake.
I'm still recovering from the Texas trip. You've had like 8 trips since then. I'm still recovering from Texas still. So that's how long it takes me.
I know. And like vacations are so fun. I was telling my client this yesterday. Vacations are so fun and they're meant to be just like complete like relaxation or something. But the anxiety and the stress is still there. Like you're traveling, you're doing all of these things. You have to be committed to like a very set time schedule if your family's like that. Like it's a lot sometimes.
Oh,
So
yeah, it's not always super relaxing. I feel that. I know. I feel like I'm like the type of person too where I get like anxious if I'm taking time off. So like if I'm taking like
right.
when we're in Osby, it's like, yeah, I'm relaxed, I'm not working, but like I'm thinking about work almost every minute I'm there. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what I should be doing. And like that type of anxiety comes up too. And I'm like,
Right, exactly.
but yeah, so
But I
now
think I'm gonna try to take the rest of the year to just kind of like get back into the groove of things because
Mhm.
I didn't really have enough time to get back into routine
Yeah.
before my next vacation was there. So it has been very hard for me to be consistent with my routine.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, that definitely makes it hard with all the travel. I feel like too, it's kind of like an unspoken thing. Like, not that we're all on summer vacation, because like we're all working throughout the summer, but like there is like a bit of like a switch that flips when it's fall for everybody. Like I feel like even like there's more like interest in terms of like coaching in the fall. Like people just want to get into a routine more when it's fall time. They're like ready to lock down on their goals again. I feel like it's just kind of like a little reset time, if that
I
makes
think
sense.
it's all very instinctual for people because you did
Yeah.
it for 12 years, you did it for 16 years if you went to college, like going back to school. Like this is how it feels. You're just
Hmm.
going back to school, but you're actually just locking in.
Absolutely. So now that you're getting back in your routine, like what are you prioritizing now that you weren't previously?
I'm definitely prioritizing self-care.
Hmm.
Definitely a big one because that's just going to help me even more get back in a routine.
Yeah.
Working content,
Yeah.
that's definitely going to be a big one. And I'm sure you have seen, Justin's seen, like these coaches have seen, the clients have seen that I'm trying to put more effort into that,
Hmm.
which I didn't really have time before,
Yeah.
which is awful to say, but like I physically like couldn't. So
Content's harder than people think.
yeah, it's like, oh, you post on Instagram for your job. That must be so hard. Like yeah, it is actually. Like imagine trying to put yourself out there and doing this and having people like come back at you. Like I don't think people realize that we get a lot of backlash for this. We get a lot of feedback and not all of it's great.
I think Kate's really been in a season of life where she's being forced to grow and kind of transform and evolve, maybe at a faster pace than maybe some people that are close to her, like in her friend group or like outside of her friend group. And I think Kate's definitely received some backlash on like what she's doing in terms of like even the podcast. Like, and I think a lot of it comes from people just not understanding like what Kate's trying to pursue. And I don't know if Kate feels comfortable like talking about that, but like it's definitely been like not a super positive experience for Kate the whole time trying to like do content and do the podcast and make the transition to coaching. There's been a lot of uphill battle, I think, for her. She's overcome a lot too. She's like stuck it out. She didn't give up. So
Yeah, exactly. So I was having a very rough time, like even in the beginning, just trying to post and put myself out there just because I come from a small town. People aren't doing this. Like there might be one other girl that's doing this out of my entire town.
Mhm.
And it's hard for people to like understand that like this is what I'm doing, and they immediately have this thought of like, oh, this is like so gimmicky, like all these things. But if you actually came up to me and asked me what I was doing, you would understand. But they're not. Like that's they everyone has this preconception of, oh, if you're working on Instagram, if you're trying to be an influencer, blah blah blah, all these things, you're not really working. You're not doing a 9 to 5, so you're not working.
Yeah.
And that's like really difficult for someone that's like trying to make a name for themselves and trying to like get into this community where not a lot of people around me are doing it. So when you're getting that sort of like feedback, it's going to bring you down. And it definitely brought me down. I definitely had a really, really hard time accepting the fact that people weren't understanding. And I was just kind of assuming that they would. But over the couple months that I've been here, I definitely see an uptick in support from my family. Like now my family's on board and like Ty's on board and all these things. So that's really where I feel comfortable with my support system. Like I think they're definitely helping more. They definitely understand more. But you're gonna have haters anywhere you go. So
Gonna have haters. That's it, man. That's it. I know it's hard, especially to like to your point, like living in small town. Like it's something that you can absolutely make fun of somebody for. Like, and I think,
yeah.
it's I don't want to say like something that people will grow out of a little bit, but like to an extent, yeah. And I think as like people begin to understand, like you're not really trying to be an influencer. It's more so like I'm trying to be a coach, and like this is how I market my coaching, and like this is how like I can maybe
How
help.
do you think I'm going to get paid if I don't get clients from my Instagram page that are following me and seeing what I'm actually doing and understanding? How do you think I'm going to get clients if I just pick someone off the street and say, "Hey, you want coaching?" They say yes. Like what? That might work once
Yeah.
in a fucking blue moon. Sorry, but
Right. Like yes. And I think like navigating Instagram, like it's hard. And it's like when you're kind of figuring out like what kind of content you want to make, how you want to come across online, it's hard. It's like it's a drawn out like thought process. And I think as you like continue to like find yourself like in the
well, like
content
establishing your brand is really difficult. Like
is
pick anyone that you went to high school with and ask them to establish their brand and then market themselves on Instagram. They can't do it within a week. Sorry.
so
And
right.
if you think you can, you're absolutely joking yourself.
It's
Because it's
like
really hard to like market yourself to this huge group of people that you're just entering in, and then you have to like make a name for yourself. You have to make people know who you are. And that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to do.
it does. It's very challenging. And like, I think you're already ahead in many ways, but I know that a lot of people don't understand that like might be like giving opinions and things because they don't work in this field of work or this space of things. And I think like Kate is already kind of ahead. She's already been ahead for some time. Like when I first started coaching, I didn't have a podcast to be a part of. I wasn't being consistent on socials. I was kind of just posting a mirror pic and like hoping like that somebody wanted me to train them. Like there was no rhyme or reason to like what I was doing when I first started. So you're already like way ahead. And so I think that it's a matter of time, and it takes time. Like Matthias took him like, what is it? It's August, but now he's seeing that return on investment of his time, his effort, trusting the process. But it took until August. We started in January. So it takes time. It does. Well, I'm glad that you could stick it out and like do what feels good to you. And I feel like as you are now home, you world traveling human being, you'll like have more time to like dedicate to like the self-care and like hopefully feel recharged and feel creative to make your content, because when you're feeling run down, you're not creative. I know I've been in like a bit of a rut like that. So yeah.
I feel like I've been pouring from an empty cup, and it's not. You should never do that. Never do that. I've had my sister tell me that so many times, and I'm like, I know I am, but I can't have the time to like refill that cup. Like I don't have the time to.
Yeah, I was running into that really heavily. And I feel like something that started to help me a lot with it is every morning I am doing some sort of exercise. I know that's not everybody's outlet. It doesn't have to be, but like even just doing my training or my cardio in the morning helps me to feel better. Like I've poured into my cup already. Like I don't have to miss my training session because of work today, or I don't have to miss my cardio because of work. And when I just changed up my schedule, started work an hour later, my life like started to feel so much better. So I'm like, I think you'll find things in your routine that can help.
Exactly. So speaking of exercise, I know you're changing up your little routine here.
Oh yeah.
Going
Yes.
on.
So I am addicted to the Peloton. No, I shouldn't say that. That's not an exercise addiction isn't funny. No, I just am loving it like a ton. I'm loving it so much. And so I have started experimenting with like different endurance kind of lengths of time, if you will. So like I'm doing a 60-minute ride, a 90-minute ride, and then a 2-hour long ride. And my goal is to over time, crazy, just this is for literally no reason, just for fun. I want to see if I can cycle for 4 hours in one day. Like I want to do a 4-hour ride. Like that's what I'm working towards. And my goal is to try to do that by my birthday. So there's no rhyme or reason to this. This is literally just for fun. And I think for me, now that like work-life balance is getting better and like Copper, although he's in his adolescence, like he's in more of a routine. I have a little bit more time to dedicate to stuff like that and like kind of like personal fitness goals again. And where I'm not bodybuilding, I feel like I need something to like make me like work hard. Like I need something really hard
Different,
to work towards.
yeah.
If that makes sense.
Goal, a different overall fitness goal.
Yeah, and I'm still training. So I actually just this week changed my training split. So I'm doing 2 leg days, like an anterior and posterior focus, and then a posterior focus leg day. Still like training to failure, still using a lot of the same training methodologies that I did in bodybuilding. And then I have an upper body day. So instead of doing like push and pull, I combined my upper body stuff together. So that way I can have one full rest day from the cycling and training because I was doing like 7 days a week. And I was like, wait, this isn't sustainable for like
This
2
is
weeks.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this can't happen. So last night, like Kate texted me at like 6. I was asleep at 7:30. Swear to God, ask John. I was asleep at 7:30 on the couch, moved to the bedroom. I've been so tired, so I think I need a little bit more recovery. My body's been kind of communicating that to me. So I changed up my training split 3 days a week. 2 leg days, and then I do the rides. And so I'm going to continue to like add duration on to my longer rides until I can kind of work up to that 4-hour ride. And then we'll figure out from there what I want to do.
What an awesome goal. That's so cool.
Well, thank you. It's fun because I'm like, for once, I'm like doing things based on performance, like solely based off performance, nothing to do with like, oh, if I, do cardio for this long, like it's going to help me lose X amount of pounds or I'm going to be, leaner for bodybuilding, like whatever. So I think it's been really helpful and like really healing because I used to like hate cardio for a little bit. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. And it's so fun. So I'm just enjoying it and like doing what feels good. I really want to get to a Pilates class. And I know we've been talking about maybe trying that like together. I really want to do that too, like, and make that, I don't know if it'll be a weekly thing or what, but I want to at least try it and see how it goes.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Pilates is like, it's a fun new thing because if you use a reformer, it's like
that alone just looks
this
fun.
machine.
Yeah, it looks so fun. I'm like, I'm probably gonna like break my neck on it, but like it looks fun. So I'm like, I want to try it. So yeah, just try new things. And fueling accordingly. So like I'm eating a lot of food right now, like a lot of food. Like if I had to guess, I'm probably close to like 300, 400 carb, probably around 60 to 90 fat, depending on the day. And then like 100 to 150 grams protein. And the reason I even give those numbers is I want people to know I am eating as I am doing this amount of movement. So I'm not in a deficit of nutrition. So yeah.
Speaking of eating, since my vacations, I was kind of in a depressive episode, you may say.
Okay.
That I actually like was not hungry. Like I had no appetite, all of these things, which sucked. And I was like, obviously my history of that, my mom got nervous. She was like, you need to be eating. Like, I need you to eat. Have you eaten today? And I feel very supported in that sense where everyone was asking, okay, did you eat today? Did you eat today? And that was really important for me to actually like gain my appetite back.
Oh,
the support system when you don't have an appetite is really important because people actually care. Trust me. They care if you're eating, if you're not eating, all these things. And obviously it's summer, so like I'm having a drink, I'm drinking. But when I wasn't having an appetite and I wanted to go out, like say I went to the Red Sox game the other day, my mom was like, you need to eat something. I'm going to force something down your throat because you need to eat something if you were going to have a drink. And I was like, okay. And at that point, I was trying to eat when I wasn't hungry, and it was just kind of turning me off from that, which I think is a definitely important topic that we should touch on. But overall, the support system that I had over the past couple days, the past week, was incredible. And I'm very, very grateful for that.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point to bring up. It's like even though you know, like you should be eating X amount of meals and snacks per day, and like you should be doing X, Y, Z, it doesn't always mean that it's easy to put that into practice, especially when you're experiencing like stress or anxiety or depression and it's impacting your appetite cues. And it's really hard to eat when you're feeling that way. Nothing sounds good. You might even feel a little nauseous. I know when Copper was sick with parvo, oh, Kate, like I definitely, I was like not eating enough. Like I was so stressed, like sick to my stomach, stressed, like for what felt like 2 months, honestly. I definitely like, I lost weight because of the stress. I definitely had days where I was under fueling, but I did the best I like could. But I was like, I knew I wasn't even working out really at that time. So I was just like mentally not well. So I relate heavily to that. My appetite is affected when I'm feeling that way.
Exactly. I think that's the first thing that goes when I'm like stressed or anything because I don't really stress eat. I
Yes. I
starve,
mean,
I guess. Like I don't know how to put that in a way that I could say that, but
yeah, no, I get
I
you.
my appetite tanks when I'm stressed.
Same, same. Yeah. And so like when we had the copper issue, it was like right off the RD exam. So I was already super stressed with that.
Yeah.
It was like, it felt like 3 months of me like struggling to eat so bad. And I definitely was leaner at that time, but it wasn't like a good lean. It wasn't like a good result of that. It was an unhealthy, like I'm not doing well kind of thing. So
It's like it's never good when you're like not really working towards it. It's just happening. You're like, "Oh, this is not what I wanted. Like this is not the goal that I had in mind."
yeah, exactly. And my strength felt horrible too. Like whenever I did get a chance to train, I
Oh,
just wasn't feeling good. Yeah. But well, I'm glad that you're feeling better. And I think having some time home to just like be in a place of comfort as well, like your comfort space, your safe space, I think can be really helpful too. And like regulate your central nervous system for sure.
yeah, I really
Yeah.
I got a massage the other day and it was
Yeah. That's
I was
nice.
almost like I was kind of making myself anxious in the
Yeah.
massage because I'm like I've felt anxious for the past 3 months. Why am I not feeling anxious right now? But
Yeah. No,
I mean
that's
that happens to me very periodically where I'm like, okay, I'm relaxed now, but I should feel anxious, so I'm gonna make myself feel anxious.
I will admit I do that. And I've tried to like bring self-awareness when I'm doing it. Like I almost like talk myself through. I'm like, there's
No,
nothing,
right, right.
everything's okay. Like I'm not even gonna lie. This morning, there's just a lot of tasks I need to have done by end of day today. And it's fine. It's all gonna be good. But like I've had to like talk myself through it. I'm like, everything's fine. Stop. You're gonna get through the day. You always do. So like I'll just make anxiety for myself. It's not a good habit. So I relate. Yeah, it's hard.
And I cleaned my room, which it was
Yeah.
when I am stressed or when I am just feeling very like depressed or stressed or anxious, it is absolutely
Yeah.
seen in the state of my room because you cannot see the ground,
I hear you. It's the
not see
best
the floor.
feeling when you can clean and it's like alleviating that stress and anxiety. Like that's like my guilty thing. Like I stress clean. Like that's what I do.
Yeah. And I did it because I couldn't even sleep in my room. Like I kept having to go to ties at like 11:30 because I'm like, I can't sleep. I'm so stressed out. I can't sleep.
Yeah,
And
and
then
if your
as soon
environment.
as I get to ties, I fall right asleep.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
What?
I said I think you needed to like be home so like you can just like get acclimated back home. Like you haven't had a chance. You've probably been living out of suitcases and duffel bags and all that.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But
What?
we're here. We're okay.
Mm-hmm.
We made it.
We made it. We did. Kate got a massage. I got Dysport last Friday. So when me and Kate didn't do, she was still on vacation. I got my Dysport done by Krista, which I want to have Krista on the pod so bad. I have dinner with her next Thursday. I'm gonna plug the pod. We're gonna get her on. Krista is amazing. She's an injector in Wellesley, Massachusetts, for those that are interested in getting some sort of tox or filler or hydrofacials and all sorts of other things. Like they do so much different like med spa stuff there. But I did that. And so for the first time, the whole point of this, first time ever, I got my masseters done
Oh
for
yeah.
like my Dysport. And I have been a chronic like grinder of my teeth to the point where they're filed down a little bit. Like which I need to go to the dentist. We're in the midst of making it. But the last time I went, which was years ago, they were on my case about it. They're like, you need a retainer. And like, I don't know about anybody else, but like sleeping with a retainer or a mouth guard just like isn't comfy. So anyway, I pulled the plug and I got it done. And I think it's starting to give a little bit of the facial slimming effect. But I will say this, as soon as she injected, like as soon as that needle hit
Went
my
in.
it like alleviated so much tension I didn't even know existed. And it was
Really?
most immediate. I was like, Krista, like, is this normal? Like, it just like immediately got rid of it. And she's like, sometimes if it's really tense and like you have big masseters, which I definitely do. So, anyways, that's been life changing. I'm like sleeping extra good. Maybe that's what
Wait,
I'm,
maybe I'll get it.
yeah.
I think I need that.
Honestly, not to say that you don't need anything, but like, I
I
just,
grind my teeth so bad.
game changer, dude. Like, I have less headache. Like, it's amazing. So,
And
I,
lately, I've been like feeling myself just like that's like a resting position for my mouth. It's just
yeah,
feeling
same.
like
I'm like a
this
notorious like
far.
cruncher. What I will say is like, so when I'm training, right? Like I'll be like, like
Yeah.
pushing like so hard, right? And it now, like I can't really do that. So like it's almost like a part of like my muscle mind connection when I'm training feels a little bit different because I can't press
You
down
can
as
do that.
much.
Yeah.
Muscles like weaker. But anyway, so that's interesting. But that's always a fun little trip there. No filler, no filler this time, just the Dysport. But yeah, so that was good. That was my treat myself moment.
I love that.
Yeah. So we'll
Always
have to,
have a treat yourself moment because it's so
yeah.
important to do.
Yes, you do. So the moral of today's story is don't care what other people think of you. Do what is best for you. Live a life true to you. Make sure you're making time for self-care. That's really important, whatever that looks like to
Like
you.
my children.
I love this. This is perfect. And what else? What else is our message today? Self-care
Be
and
you. Don't
routine.
let anyone routine. Don't
Proper.
let anyone tell you you cannot do something because you absolutely can, and I believe in you. And if you don't have a support system, please let me know because I will be your support system. I will be
Hey.
here for you, believe in you 1000% because you own the world and you make your own reality.
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. That's ending. Boom. Shakalaka. That's
Here we
done.
go. Love y'all.
Love y'all. Stay tuned.